We come with messages of love and light, and this transmission is a slightly different transmission, as it is more conversational and guided than it is a direct channeled message. We are here with the energy and the master divine feminine energy that surrounds this space now. And for every divine feminine energy that has taken an incarnation on this planet, they have come with the sole purpose of divine creation and staying within the energy of divine creation. And it is only with soul purpose, soul family, and connection to unity consciousness that they can take on their soul mission, as well as overcome their individual duality and polarity experiences. There has been some experimentation that has gone on through soul experiences, as each time an incarnation comes into a life or an earth experience, it is to evolve the soul and therefore evolve unity consciousness. So play and missions were started to develop in order to lift consciousness and humanity for the greatest evolution of the self, the collective, and the planet. The particular divine feminine energy we would like to share and connect with today is what you know, or who you know, as Joan of Arc. She was a soul that carried the energy of the divine feminine in strength and in power for the two oversouls for her in that lifetime and in that individual experience was the soul and the energy of the Marys. When we say Marys, we mean the Mary Magdalene and the Mother Mary, as their energies intertwined and combined to lead an experience of complete divinity via Joan of Arc. As Joan of Arc, the human Joan, she had soul evolution and experiences of galactic and angelic understanding from the womb space, where she knew her soul mission and her soul purpose from birth. As this has never really been experienced before, however, the divine feminine energy needed to be so strong and withstand the time frame that it was coming into, that it was felt as necessary to send in this divine feminine being with the support and the guidance of the divinity. Via her childhood, she was mostly in meditation states. And we are saying she, as we are the translation or the translators in between the two energies, but this may change through the transmission. She was in mostly meditative states, deep meditation, as she was listening to the Marys and the guidance that was coming through. Upgrades of DNA via sacred geometry, sacred ritual practices of mantras and mudras, that she often would be caught talking to herself, drawing pictures that have never been understood before at that time, could not be understood at that time, and having points of view and references for things that she should have not known anything about. However, she intuitively knew what was going on, and in her physical body could not stand for injustice on any level. It was her soul mission and soul purpose to free humanity. As her oversoul was divine feminine from both of the Marys, it manifested in the physical reality as divine connection to Source, however portrayed and manifested physically as more of a masculine energy, so that she herself could have balance. She often spoke to the divine energy and unity consciousness in and out of meditation states as she was highly connected. She was able to teleport herself through mass, and she began to manipulate matter from a very young age. So much so her family believed that she should be in the religious temples and church and a nunnery for her gifts of healing and quote unquote special needs. She herself believed that that would be where she would be safe and connected and able to assist and help people. She was not able to put the 2 and 2 together at that time yet of what her life would become. During the time was heavy density, heaviness around. There was war for hundreds of years in which she was born into this timeline to fix it, to elevate it, to change the timeline, to manipulate it. She was able to travel in between timelines in secret and in disguise, and of several different personalities, you would say, or personas. She would be able to manipulate matter, levitate, and teleport as a teenager. And with these powers and with this connection, she grew a strength and confidence that no matter what fight she would fight, or who she would take on, or what she would bring down in the name of freedom and in the name of divinity, in the name of creation, that she would be safe. So she began to take on an almost inhuman immortality type of mentality. Because she was more connected to the angelic side, her reality started to become warped in terms of immortality and where she physically belonged. She has been quoted to say that she acted in divinity from voices or messages that she was not able to explain where they came from. And we can share that it came from the divinity and unity consciousness itself. She was protected by many angels and guided by many angels to bring justice and light to the density and the heaviness of what was happening at that time. As she did not have a huge team and an army of people to help her to bring colonies and kings and empires down in the beginning. However, the more people were freed because of her, the more she gained a liking and a following, where people felt safe around her and believed in her fight, believed in her words, believed in her powers and in her connection, as she was able to uncover secret rooms in buildings that to your naked eye seemed unexplainable. How she would know that there was a door behind the wall. But she knew because she was able to teleport through, she was able to manipulate the matter to feel the vibration of the building. She was able to hone in to the grounds of the ley lines of the land and feel where she needs to go next. She was able to remote view and have a bird's eye view of what she would be coming up against if she were to go into a building, and how many people she would need to go through in order to find the victims or the human trafficking space that she would need to go and release. She saved hundreds and hundreds of people as human trafficking and an underground world funded by war at the time, just like today, was happening then. The loathe and the disgust and the injustice and the complete and utter desire to gift people the freedom is what drove her, is what drove Joan of Arc to become a warrior for the people and a warrior for freedom. She cut her hair to look more masculine so that when she was in and out of buildings, she would not have to be questioned or not be able to defend herself, as women were seen as weak at that time and should not be in certain areas of the house or the home or the land or the neighborhood or the village. She was able to save and to free more people than you know. She is of the bloodline of Mary Magdalene in terms of family, genetic, and ancestral lineage, and her connection to the divine feminine goddess gave her the warrior strength that she needed. Her training of meditation, matter manipulation, and levitation got her through timelines, buildings, to fight the injustice and to bring light to the density. She did not, well, she chose not to use her techniques and her energetic mastery for healing. She chose to use it for exposure and light and bringing more light, as she felt the more people she would free, the higher vibrational alignment would come back to unity consciousness. Before she physically transitioned, she was able to touch the ground on a certain ley line and energetically send light to the exact point and destination in which she wanted to visit next, in order for them to feel that she is coming, that she is on the way, for the guidance to be there with her, for the people to feel that help is on the way, for the people to believe that freedom is serving them, for people to believe that they have somebody physically here to look out for them, for the injustice to feel fear and know what they're doing is or will be uncovered. There is timelines where war went on for hundreds of years. However, this has been wiped from our records and denied to be true and revised. That has only been accepted for 4 years or 5 years or 10 years at the max. However, she would not allow another 100-year war to continue, to go on, to separate the people, to separate humanity from unity consciousness, to separate them as individuals, to treat them as animals, to treat the land as an unconscious being, to treat each other as separate. So in her meditation states, in her time travel, she would go back to these war times to untie these ties, to rewrite the story, as if we would accept 100-year war, we would accept that timeline to be true, we would follow this timeline, and she made it one of her soul missions to ensure that another 100-year war would never happen again. As she often referred to that timeline as breeding or populating humanity to serve agenda, where people were born into having no choice but to fight, but to be of poverty, but to be of a low vibrational circumstance, but to be trafficked, but to be sold, but to be disconnected. And though her name carries on as a protector, a warrior, a crusader, a strong feminine representation of the energy of feminism, the beginning of feminism, the misunderstanding is that she was a crusader or she was a warrior, when truly she was the divine feminine, having the experience of mastership in her own energetic upgrade for herself, for the collective, and for the planet. And if she herself can know and can understand that she is the divine being, she is the creator, then no king, no god, no one is greater than her, therefore fear does not exist. This is the true strength of the divine feminine. As Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary did not have the individual experience to come through on an earth lifetime to be the warrior, to be the crusader, to be the divine light in this way, their experience via Joan of Arc led them to experience what she experienced energetically, as the oversoul also upgrades as the soul does. Thank you.